Alright, so to talk about submitting disposal reports and then a couple of reports that might be useful to you as county, as the county. So let's go to Logic. So once you've either uploaded manually entered your data and then you've completed the facility summaries for the facilities that you've reported, the last thing you have to do is you have to go and submit your report to CalRecycle. So you simply have to click on the Submit tab, and it will run various checks. So for the case of disposal record check, what it's actually looking for is to make sure that you fix that yellow bar that we had occur where it wasn't able to determine the place of origin. So if you did have that and you didn't fix it, it would come up as an error. This missing facility summaries would be simply, did you forget to fill one out? As Darcy pointed out, you want to go back, try add. If you have no more facility summaries to add, then you've completed them all. The modified facility summary check, this one looks to see if you've actually made any corrections after the fact to your facility summaries. So if we were to go back, do data entry, and simply edit one of these, so remember how she changed this one from 90 to 100, from 100 to a 90. If we did this, and we were to go to submit, it would prompt us to go back and verify that that should be what it is. So you would go back, you'd have to hit view, and it will prompt you, oh, what's the issue? And if this is all correct and you verified and your justification makes account for why the difference is and it's a valid reason, you simply have to hit save. So let's go back. If we hit, there. We'll change this one back to 90. But again, it's going to prompt us that we've made changes, so we simply have to go to the facility, or you can click View and simply hit Save. Once you've done that, you can go over to the Submit section, and it will be completed. The next thing is that it will do a BOE Validation Check. What BOE stands for is the Board of Equalization. For any landfill that accepts waste in California, if you dispose of waste, they have to pay the tipping fee. What happens is we get a report at CalRecycle that reports to us how much was actually being disposed and paid for for the fee purposes. We will then compare the two, and if the difference is greater than 1%, it will prompt you to justify why there's that discrepancy. Since we don't have that issue, I have a couple screenshots to show you what that issue would be. Scroll down. Let's make this bigger. There. So in the case, as you can see, this looks identical, but you would have this BOE validation check, and it will say fix errors. You simply click the link for fix errors, and then it will take you to a new page. It will then list out the Swiss number, the facility name, the disposal tons, what was reported to the Board of Equalization, and the difference. And then the percentage difference. So if the percentage is greater than 1%, and in this case you can see it's 1.4, it will prompt you to justify. You simply click Justify, write why the difference is, and then you can, once you've justified all your records, you can go back to the system and it will say corrected. You'll end up with it being completed. So once if all your records, you have no discrepancy, it will automatically go to the completed portion and you don't have to do anything. Next it will do is some basic random checks to make sure that all the data is in there all right, there's not going to be any issues. And then once all these have been set to completed, all you have to do is hit Submit to CalRecycle. Once you click that Submit button, it then locks that particular quarter so that no one can come in and edit the data after the fact. Also, it sends an email to both yourself and to CalRecycle saying that you've submitted the data and thank you. So this is your documentation as proof that you've submitted it, and it also sends us the email so that we know that you have submitted it. Now, if you come across and after you've done your submittal and you find that there's an error and you need to make corrections, either re-upload or manual data entry or fix a few records, you simply have to email drs@calrecycle.ci.gov, let us know that you have a revision for a particular quarter, and CalRecycle staff can unlock it so that you can log in and make those changes and then resubmit the data to CalRecycle. So once you've done your submittal, then you have the options and you're done. You'll notice if you go to external logic and you look at your particular quarter, you'll notice that it's changed to received. This meaning that we have received it and we're reviewing it. And again, the data cannot be changed until it's been reset back to the due status in which it is free to be edited. So lastly, let's go over some reports. These reports are there for you as a county's staff to use to run for your particular county. You'll notice the first one is ADC and AIC quarterly summary by facility. This one details all the alternative daily cover or intermediate cover that is used at the facilities within your county. Simply select it and it runs. A minute. You'll notice that if any green waste, auto shred, and it lists out all the different material types. And if you expand, notice you'll have these little plus signs. It'll give you the particular jurisdictions that sent that material that was used at the landfill, and it gives you the ADC or AIC. One thing to note is that all the CalRecycle reports, you have the option to export them out to various formats. So say you need it in a PDF or an Excel, you have that option. The next one is the BOE Comparison Report. Kind of show you this one. In this case, you'll see the different years. You simply click the plus sign in the particular quarter, and it will give you out what was reported inside Logic. Since we're using the staging version, it doesn't have actual data. So I'm going to show you an image of one. In this case, you'll notice that it has the facility names, Swiss numbers, the accepted, all the different ADCs, AICs, benefits for reuse, sent off-site for recycling, what was calculated as the disposal versus what was actually reported in that Excel sheet or the line items. Then it has a green box. That green box is the difference from which was reported to the Board of Equalization. And then to the right of that, you'll actually see what was reported to the Board of Equalization. Again, how much was actually disposed, how much was actually accepted, beneficial reuse, AIC, ADC, and then recycling. So if this difference is greater than 1%, it will prompt you again on that submittal page to make corrections. But this also gives you an idea of what's occurring at your landfills. So it's worth to go back and actually do a comparison to make sure that your landfills are reporting correctly to both you and to the Board of Equalization. Next, you have some reports that you can select and run by year. All the data that's in Logic is available for you to run to the most current data. So if you want to see 2013 data as of what has been reported at this point in time, you simply have to log in to Logic and you can run that information. So in this case, we'll run for 2013. First one, it simply gives you the disposal types being in-state, imports or exports, allocated to jurisdiction. To click that one. One thing to note is that if you run any of these reports and you're trying, and maybe you want to go switch it up, if you don't close the old report, it actually pops up in the old viewer. So you might be expecting something to pop up, but if you already have the report viewer open, it will simply replace the data that's in there and show you the new report. So you might be sitting there waiting, but you actually already have it open. So you can see here any exports that have been reported, from what origin, what was the destination. Again, you can see imports or in-state being waste that was disposed of from California to a California landfill. Next two reports are jurisdiction and place of origin. They are very similar, so I'm going to show you the place of origin report since this one gives you a little bit more detail. And what the big difference between this one and the jurisdiction report is the fact of what it reports. If you notice here, it will show you the place of origin, and this is what was reported in the DRS reports that were submitted. So in the case we had Merced, well, the actual jurisdiction that Merced belongs to is Merced County Solid Waste Regional Agency. So as you can see, it will actually tell you what was reported as the place of origin and then what the actual jurisdiction is that waste will be attributed to. Again, it gives you the tons accepted, tons disposed. Again, any ADC or AIC that might have been used at the facility from that particular jurisdiction. And then you can expand to get the different facilities. And unfortunately, this last report is not working at this point in time, but it will detail out what the waste was that originated from your particular county, regardless of where it was sent. So if another facility reported of waste as coming from your county, this report will basically detail out by jurisdiction where that waste went to. And this is basically to give you as a county a view of what's occurring and where waste is going that's originating from your county. And hopefully that will be up soon and functioning correctly in the near future. Now, with that said, we're going to take any questions in regards to EDRS and module.
We did have an email question. What is the difference between total accepted and total disposed?
The difference between accepted and disposed is accepted is what comes across the gate that excludes soil. So it would include any ADC, AIC, beneficial reuse, recyclable material. That would all be included in accepted. Disposed of would actually be what is landfilled in the hole for disposal purposes. Any other questions?
We got 5 more minutes left.
All right. We know it's getting close to the end, so if you guys have any questions, try and send them in. If we do not respond to them right now, or if you come up with any questions after the fact, feel free to email DRS at CalRecycle. We will make sure to answer them. And we will, again, be posting the webinar on the DRS homepage, and we'll probably put up any questions that you guys might have had. We'll try to put up an FAQ as well, so that way we can address any questions that might have occurred or came out after we did this presentation. That said, no, any other overall questions? So we have a question, do we have data for soil? Soil is to be reported on the facility summaries. So if it's actually being reported on that facility summaries, which it should be, we do have data of how much soil is being used at each facility. We would not know where that soil came from, just that it's being used at that particular facility. There is no report in regards to soil, but if it is something that users do want, and one thing to let us know is that if there's any particular data set that you are trying to get at or information you get at and there's no report that's available to you guys for that particular information, let us know. We can try and get that report available, or if it's just simply a one-off report that you need once and you have no intention of ever using it again, we can also try and get you that information as well. So don't forget, again, email DRS at drs@calrecycle.ca.gov if you have any questions or any other information that you may need that might be helpful to you guys as the county. So again, this webinar will be posted again. When we get this up, we are also hoping to revise the DRS homepage to make it a little bit more convenient. At that time, we will be emailing out all the DRS contacts to let you guys know that the training material is available and that the site has been updated and revised for you guys to make it a little bit more convenient. So with that said, we want to thank you for participating. Both me and Darcy appreciate your time, as well as Peter.